True. I think people turn to people because when you turn to God, you got to be patient. And the person near you or the people around you, that instant gratification or that instant comfort, it feels good.
I met my best self today. She told me success come with patience. Discipline is for the strong, the weak too weak-minded to gain. It used to smoke away the pain. Gas I'm smoking on is strong. You can smell it on my teeth and hear my voice is almost.
What's up, you guys? It's Jimia here at TrillTalk Podcast, where we keep it true to ourselves and real with you about all things life and entrepreneurship. And I'm here with my girl, JusNic, who's here to tell you a little bit about herself and her insight. We love her perspective. So, Nick, I was just on your podcast a few months back.
Thank you.
It was amazing. I think we meshed well, which is why I'm like, girl, you're coming over here on Trill Talk. We're going to get this right back rolling, and she's going to be the first episode back. Nick, tell me a little bit about what made you who you are today. Give me a bit about your upbringing.
Okay, so my parents are both Jamaican. I'm first generation here. My upbringing has always hella, it's not to curse, but hella strict, all about education, all about morals, all about integrity. I feel as though I put family first, and I'm just so happy to be able to, do my thing, I guess, and survive out here.
This is going to drive me to a conversation we just had a little bit earlier about, the differences between African American people and, Black people or other people who come from different countries, right? Mm-hmm. And we had this conversation a little bit about Black women having this perspective of hard work and having to be the best and all of these different things. Tell me a little bit about your perspective on that. Like, how do you perceive how a woman or a Black woman should be?
I don't know if I'm different. I'm just very carefree, and I try not to be as competitive. I think a lot of times that we are kind of conditioned to be competitive, just women overall. But I notice in corporate world, it is always that, that token Black girl or that other Black girl and things of that nature. So I try to get out of my head, me personally, being competitive and giving your all and giving 100% is cool. But for me, I do put a little bit back for myself, because I feel as though like you're going to burn yourself out. And that's why you're always angry, because you're putting so much trying to be the best, and you're not showing up for yourself. You're not showing up for your family. You ain't showing up for your man. And that's why he ain't, it's like, I'm kidding. But that's why people don't want to be around you. Yeah, you're great on paper, but your attitude sucks. So that's why I think the world judges us so much, and it's because we're trying to be the best. And I don't believe in that. People say, what you do? I try to do my best. I'm not trying to be the best. So that's why you burnt out, and that's why it sucks to be around you. And then you're mad that people don't want to be around you, is because the pressures of the world you're letting get to you, and you can't be like that. You're never going to be perfect. So just do your best every single day, and I promise you, if you lead with the intention that you're doing your best, it will come out that way.
Now, here's my spin on it.
Yes.
Let me bring this mic a little closer.
I'm scared.
But here's my spin on it, right? I love that perspective, because I do believe that's the truth, right? I think that Black women have been conditioned and almost raised in a way where we've built this independent perception of ourselves. And we hear so often, you're a strong Black woman. You're an independent Black woman. But I think we have to also look through the reality of what being Black in America is. And to understand that historically, Black people and Black families have always been attacked, right? From slavery. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect us now. But it truly does, right? All the way from slavery to Reconstruction, we got up. We got further. We had our own cities in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been successful people, and that was intentionally destroyed. We had the Tulsa massacre. We had out here in Philadelphia, the bombings on oh my gosh, it's blanking. It's going to pop up in my head, but there's so many instances where we were intentionally attacked, our families were intentionally destroyed. So when we look at why a black woman has become more independent, we look at families where fathers are not there, so we don't have the protectors in our families. We look at families where the mother had to bring the income into the home. So what does she have to be? The breadwinner. She has to have a masculine attitude. She has to say, I'm going to go get it, and I'm going to take care of my kids. I can't take care of myself. Why? Because if I focus on taking care of myself, them kids aren't going to eat. If I focus on getting cute and being sweet, I'm not going to get that job. So I have to be hungry or get ate. You know what I'm saying? So I think I love the perspective of you coming from a different, or your family coming from a different space and giving you different values. But I think that there's also a level of privilege to be able to have that perspective, right? Even myself, coming from the suburban side of outside of Philadelphia, right? I have a different foundation that allowed me to get into different rooms, into different doors. But we have to address the fact that black women nobody wants to be competitive. Nobody wants to work super, super hard to where they can't take care of themselves. That's something that happens through trauma. That's something that happens through situational living, where you live in poverty for so long that you have to go get it, where you have no foundation. You don't have a father to protect you emotionally, spiritually, all of those things. Like you said, you could go to your mom and say, Mom, I'm going through this thing where my podcast and my friendship has ended, my relationship has ended, and you could cry in her bed and she gives you advice. A lot of black women in America don't have that same experience, right? So I love your take on it, and that's why I wanted to bring Nick on here, right? Because that perspective is important.
But I will interject and say, you say a lot of black women don't have that, and that is true, and in some instances. But I see some black women, they do have a foundation, but they've been so conditioned, like I said, because I think everything's about how you think, that they may have that backbone, they may have that person that got their back, but they've been running and being independent for so long, they don't know how to receive help. So that's what I'm talking about. I really believe that the black woman is the cornerstone of this. It is of this race, of this culture. But sometimes I feel like we don't know how to receive help because we've been so disappointed, because we've gone through the trauma of he's not going to household. And yes, he's acting right now, but 2 months later, there's always this negative thing. And I just feel as though we change our mindset and be like, hey, I went through all this, but maybe
black women have been far too forgiving. And that's why we've been far too hurt. So we are far too gullible in putting ourselves in situations where there's an obvious red flag, because we desire
in relationships, okay,
friendships,
okay,
and opportunities altogether. So put it like this: we'll get in a relationship with a man who doesn't want you, but you'll think he's working harder he doesn't want me because financially he's not there. He doesn't want to marry me because of X, Y, Z.
I got a question. Why would you be with a man that say he don't want you?
But that's my point to you. So at what point is it forgiving or is it being dumb?
That's dumb.
So now, yes, but if he doesn't verbally say it, but his actions aren't adding up to somebody that wants you. So, for example, what you said is, if that black man isn't showing up in a way that he needs to, you need to forgive him, right? Because he may be working on himself.
No, that's not what I said. I said if that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I want to actually.
I said if that black man is now. I'm talking about now, not before. Let's say he got incarcerated. He wasn't doing his due diligence, and now he comes back in your life and he's trying to be better. If it permits, yes, you should forgive him.
So where's that line? I guess that's what I'm asking. Where's the line between you effed up and it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that I hate you, but I have to, for me, protect myself, set a boundary for myself to say, you know what? You messed up in a way that crosses my boundary and doesn't make me feel safe with you. So I'm going to move along so I can be that person that's at peace. Versus I'm going to forgive you even though you messed up. Like, where is the line, and where is the how do you know when to forgive and when to walk away? That's how I want to put it.
I think everything is with prayer. Like, you pray on it and you're like, hey, is this person for me? And everyone knows. I don't care what no one says. You follow your gut. Even a dog knows when they're getting treated well. If this person is showing up for you, especially if there's children in the household, but I understand there's certain boundaries that you may have as an individual. So I can never tell a woman what their boundary should be. But if someone's showing up for you or you're giving them another chance, sometimes you can say, hey, I'm gonna forgive them. And other times you can say you're not going to forgive them. It's all about your individual boundaries. Correct. So if you could sleep at night, I always say, right, if you could sleep at night knowing that you forgave this man, then cool. But if he does something that you cannot get over, yes, for his sake and your sake, you should leave, because you're going to be mad. You're going to be mad.
I agree with you on that. And I think so. I think we're really saying the same thing in different ways, to a certain extent. So I completely agree on that. Now,
so you do believe in forgiveness depending on the boundaries?
Yeah, I forgive a man. I'm not going to lie. I'm a lover girl. We going to forgive it. We might argue a little bit, or we might feel our type of way and communicate why you felt your way, why you did that, why I did that, how it hurt me, so we don't do it moving forward. But we gonna forgive, and we gonna forget, baby.
Do you bring it up after the forgiving?
Let's just say extreme. He cheated, right? And we know there's some.
Is cheating a deal breaker? Sorry.
It depends on the circumstance.
Okay.
It really truly depends on the circumstance. But if he cheated and I do forgive him for whatever reason, and then later down the line, there's a situation where he's texting somebody it's triggering for me based on the situation. And I come to him and I say, babe, listen, I know typically I haven't been triggered by you texting other people, right? But because of the situation where you cheated with X, Y, and Z, this situation here is extremely triggering for me. I emotionally am feeling unsafe here. That's when I think it's okay to bring those things up. I don't think bringing things up in the past is a bad thing if done in a mature way. I think communication is important, and understanding history is just as important as understanding what's going on now.
Yeah, so if he's texting someone again, he's cheating again. So yeah, they're not bringing it up. But I'm just talking about, like, your day to day, like people bring things up. So in a perfect situation, not that saying that's a perfect situation, but in a perfect scenario, you saying, yes, I'm going to bring it up if he's texting someone. Because technically, if he's texting someone a certain way.
It doesn't have to be inappropriate texting. But just, if somebody cheats on you, would you go through that person's phone and you're looking and whoop, 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 just to make sure for your own security? That's something that I would personally do. But I feel like my man shouldn't have a problem with that, and I wouldn't have a problem with my man going through my phone.
No, I don't like going through phone. One thing about me in any friendship or like any love or any kind of relationship, I need peace of mind. And when we talk about forgiveness, if there's no peace of mind, I can't do it.
So in my opinion, when you break somebody's trust, you have to rebuild that back. Mm-hmm. Forgiveness doesn't mean that I 100% trust you again. What it means is I forgive you for your mistake, and I don't have to hold on to that anger. Do I still lack trust for what your decision making could be possibly in the future? Yes, I do. So what can help me build that back is if I do have full access, right? If I can go through your phone willingly, if you can go through my phone willingly, it doesn't have to be a problem. But if your phone is unlocked and I try to go to it and you're like,
well, that's different. That's different.
But if I can go through your phone willingly and you don't have a problem, if you're just like, hey, babe, look, like there's no problem in that to me. Now, if there's the only way to build that trust back, basically, to me, is to have full access and to build that trust that 100% of the time, if I go through your phone, if I hang out with you, whatever, like, there's nothing there that's inappropriate to our relationship. But you can't build that trust back 100% for certain if you can't tell. You don't know.
Well, I believe in actions. And for me, I don't want to have full access. I believe in sharing locations, but I don't want to have to go through your phone. Then again, if I forgive you, I want to feel like that's an isolated incident and it's not going to happen again. And like you said, if I reach for your phone and you do that little shake, then yes, we're going to have a problem. But for me to us just be watching SpongeBob and I just pick your phone up to go through it, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a detective with my person. That's just me. So I don't need full access, but I need to know that if it occurs, then I'm able to do it. It's not
but I guess, how would you know that it occurred?
What do you mean?
How would you know that it occurs?
If you're sleeping, in my opinion, if you're sleeping with a man, you know how he moves. I know what leg my man is going to put his boxers on. Like, I just know. If you are doing you, I think I'm going to figure it out. Because I figured out the first time, I'll figure out the next time. And this time it will be a final time.
I guess for me, I agree with this. And we're going to skip this after this. But or we're going to continue after this. Yeah. But I think for me, it's a thing where I don't like wasting my time. My time is precious, right? And so if I've already known you to not be upfront about those types of things, whether it's a fear thing or whatever, like you've done what you've done, I found out however I found out, we talked about it. But for me, it's a level of, if I can go through that phone openly, that's you showing me that you're willing to build and maintain that trust. But if you are so like, oh, I don't want you to be a detective, or if I feel so much like I'm too scared to go on your phone because I don't want to be feeling like that, then that means I already don't trust you enough. That means I already think I might find something in your phone.
No, I just don't want full, like, I don't want to have to search. Like, I just feel as though, like, once you keep searching, it just gets annoying in my opinion. So I just feel as though, I just feel like a person's going to do whatever they want to do.
True.
And if you're a cheater, you can't hide it for long. And you're saying you're not going to waste your time, I guarantee I
ain't going to waste my time.
It takes 21 days to make or break a habit. I bet you in the next 21 days you're going to catch him. Every month you're going to catch him. You don't need to go have full access to his phone. Like, and me, I'm just a reassurance person. Just because I don't mind a man going through my phone. I don't want, but I'm going to look at him some type of way if he do, because I'm going to feel like he don't trust me.
I don't care. I'll be like, go look at my phone, baby.
Nah, I don't care for that. But I mean, we different. We different. Yeah.
But I love that. I love that conversation. I like the perspective.
Yeah, I'm just like, whatever.
Tell me, how do you define personal growth and how do you stay committed to it?
I do go to church, and with personal growth, I do go to church, and with personal growth, I meditate. And I just I have a journal of things that I've done financially with my life, personally, like if I own property, and I'm working on something right now, so I'm not going to talk about it, but just little things that, you know, I've come far within the last 3 years. Like, I've come really far, like owning things and just, personal growth. You remember when we were talking about anxiety? Yeah. Like, now I'm like, if it's not going to matter in 10 minutes, it's cool. We're solution driven. Let's go. Before I be like, what is going on? Just to hear myself speak. So I feel like everything that I do in my personal life, my professional life, spills into one another. So I have to be very strategic in how I address things. So if I'm mad at work, it's going to spill into my personal life. If I'm mad in my personal life, it's going to spill into my professional life. And I'm a very passionate person, so I can't play with that. Yes. So like you said, that peace of mind with that checking phone, I don't got time for that, because I'm trying to make moves, baby. I'm trying to build. So that's why I was like, that. If you can't give me peace of mind, and that's what
go. And first things first, we need somebody with God.
With God, yeah, God first. But I really need people with, like, I just want a peace of mind. And I think God comes in with that peace of mind.
If you have God first, all of those things happen, because he talks about cleanliness is next to godliness. He talks about not having anxiety, not being quick to anger. The Bible talks about all of these things. So when you are with a godly man, you feel that peace, you feel that support, you feel that protection, and it is everything. So I love that you said that. Woo! Oh gosh. Tell me a little bit about what was I going to ask you? Oh, about relationships, right? We already started diving into it a little bit, but you mentioned earlier having a little bit of a codependency issue. Talk to me about how you figured out that you have that issue. And then, you know, how you navigated out of that, or how you continue to, if that's something you work with.
Yeah, I love being around someone. Like, they don't even got to speak to me. I just like their energy. I just feel like you can learn from anyone. That's just how I've always been. But I spend a lot of time by myself, because I noticed that when I was by myself, I would feel like I need that person. And desperation is never good. It's like,
people feed off of it.
Yeah. Just being by myself and just focusing on me and putting myself first. I'm a big on pouring into people, as you know me, like, I just like that, but it's not healthy, because you don't leave any room for yourself. And some people take advantage of that. They don't care. So I just started running. I just started meditating. And sometimes I'll take time to myself. People are like, oh, where are you at? I know you with. Nah, I'm by myself. Because I was so used to just being with someone. I just wanted to feel their heartbeat. Like, it was crazy, like a baby in a stomach. I guess like a baby in a stomach. Like, I just wanted to be around someone and just lay with them. They didn't have to do anything. But it's not healthy, because guess what? When they disappoint you or they leave your life, what are you gonna do?
It's different.
That hurt is different. It feels like a funeral. It feels like someone died.
It feel like you died too.
Thank God for Instagram and I could stalk them. But yeah, like it feel like a part of you died. So I just was like, no, I need to pour into myself till the cup is full. So when and if it does happen and someone has to exit stage left, I'm good. And I've been so good.
Woo, girl, it's so funny you said that because I think throughout this year I've been in that part of my journey as well where I'm just like, okay, it doesn't matter who's around me, who's not around me, whatever. Like, I'm going to do what I need to do for me, because of me. Because you know what it was? Being more in my Bible. And really God telling me, like, do you know who you are? You're my child. You're not their child. You're not their wife. You're not their husband. You're not their kid. You're my child.
Yes.
They are my child. And whoever I put around your life, I placed in your life for you to impact or for them to impact you. Not to be you, not to be, not to have the same purpose or mission as you. So you need to go outlive your purpose. And if I'm too focused on that person or too focused on being up under that person, I can't live out my purpose. Maybe I didn't feed myself enough. Maybe I didn't run. Maybe I didn't journal. Maybe I didn't meditate. And now my mind is boggled and I can't outlive my purpose. I can't even hear God right now. It got to that point, being so codependent, I can't even hear God. All I hear is you.
All I hear is you. And my problem is, and I think I need to not do this, and sometimes I do this still, I put people on a pedestal.
Woo.
That I don't mean to, but it's not that I worship them. I think I just see the best in people. So I just want you to be so great. But sometimes I gotta deal with me, and then they get mad at me or they feel some type of way. So you gotta be careful how you love people, because when you start to focus on yourself, there's a thing in our culture where you acting funny or you doing this, and no, I'm just trying to better myself so I could be a better person for you. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to answer to God, not man. You are the most important person in your life, and you need to put yourself first. And I've learned that. I do have people in my life that put me first, but I've noticed, like, once I put myself first, everyone else is happy around me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yep. And you know what? I love that you say this too, because I think when you put yourself first, you teach other people to respect you in a different way. So if people have to constantly put you first, it's almost like you're a kid. Like, you become a burden almost. Why can't you get up and do yourself? Why can't you go here by yourself? And I think it's so unintentional from us or from that person who is codependent. But like you said, you get eaten alive. And there's such a good intention behind it, which is what is so... It's so odd, right? It's like, my intention is to do the best by you, to let you be the greatest person, so much that I dim my own light. Why can't you see that and want to feed back into me? But you got to realize, pouring your water in their cup. Now you don't got no water. Both cups can't be full, because if they pour into you, they halfway empty too. So it's two halfway empty people. Eventually you got to pour into your own cup so you could be full and let people get the overflow. So
that is true. And capacity is different than, they have the same capacity as you. Because some people, they cup may be half full.
Smaller cup.
Yeah. But they have if you guys have the same capacity, then you can deal with each other. Because you don't always got to be all the way right, and I don't got to be all the way right. But do you have the capacity to deal with someone like me and to understand where I'm coming from? And I think that's why we mesh so well, because sometimes I don't agree. Sometimes we have different viewpoints, but we both have the same capacity that we can coexist and still not agree.
Yes. And you know what I love about how you said that, because I think a lot of times in relationships and friendships, we don't think about compatibility. And compatibility can be in the realm of capacity. So somebody is a small cup and I'm a big cup. I'm just too much for you. That doesn't mean I'm bad. That doesn't mean you're bad. It just means it's not going to work ever, right? And also capacity could come in the realm of, I'm a thermo cup and you are a plastic cup. You can't take the heat that I take. You can't take the cold that I take. But what you can do is you can take liquids, just not mine. And I love that you said that, because I think we mesh so well, because whatever type of person we are different, yet we have the capacity and the compatibility to be able to take the liquids that we pour. And I love
that is true. But the person that can't take the liquid be so fun and nice and great. Like, what you saying is right, but I'm just telling you how it would be. They be so great and nice and everything just be so, yeah.
So perfect.
Oh my
Everything,
God.
can't
But
take
I
my
gotta
heat.
let it go because can't take the heat.
Ooh, and you know what's worse too? You be trying so hard to make that person who doesn't have the capacity for you work with you, to the point where I be trying to cool down my water that's in my thermo cup. I'm trying to cool down my water. I'm trying to put me in a freezer.
It's not as easy as we're saying that it is, but trust me, it's worth it when you see the growth over the months and years.
And after them tears, because the tears come, the anger comes, the sadness comes, the loneliness, the depression. But what Nick said is so important. You said what I do for me is I put my time and my effort into me. I go run, I journal, I meditate, I go to church. A lot of people don't realize, like, fill your time with other things and in other spaces, and it actually makes you feel better. I had a conversation with my therapist, and I'm sorry, I'm going to start asking you questions in a second, but I think this was so important. I had a conversation with my therapist the other day, and my therapist was like, who do you have to call when things get hard? I said, nobody. She said, nobody, really? I said, no, nobody. I call God. Because people don't have the capacity to handle me at all times. You might respond wrong, and now I feel more lonely. You might respond wrong, and now I'm upset or I'm sadder. And it's not your fault. You don't have the key to all of my triggers. You don't have the key to all of my problems. But the only person who does is God. So I no longer call on people to deal with all of my issues. I call God first. When I wake up in the morning, people probably think I'm crazy. I'm on the phone with my boyfriend. I get up and I say, thank you so much, God. It is so beautiful out here. It's the leaves are literally falling right now. So next season, new things can grow. That is so beautiful, God. How do you do that? So we cut people off. Why? Not because they're terrible, not because we're terrible, but because we need to leave them in order to grow. And that's what nature is. That's what life is. And as much as you try to put yourself in this box, you're going to always be stuck in depression. So I told my therapist, she said, well, it looks like you were high on the PTSD meter, high on the anxiety meter, high on the depression meter. I said, I haven't dealt with that in so long. I said, you know what? In reality, I put myself in those positions. I put myself in a position to deal with depression. I put myself in a position to deal with PTSD. I continuously looked at my trauma on a day-to-day. I saved my cousin as my backdrop who passed away, and that was a traumatic situation for me. I saved my dad as my background when he was in prison. I woke up to looking at this and wonder why I'm always thinking of this.
Yeah.
How? You stay around people that you were codependent on that didn't have the capacity to you, and wonder why you didn't get farther. Why?
That is true. I think people turn to people because when you turn to God, you got to be patient. And the person near you or the people around you, that instant gratification or that instant comfort, it feels good. And I speak from the flesh. I know that, spiritually I am working on myself, but I'm speaking from the flesh. And it's true. Like, because God, I always say God's going to always respond to 7 business days, but sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes you need to fast. Sometimes or maybe the answer that you want, God ain't giving it to you. So always, when you do that prayer, always know you're not always going to get what you want.
You don't wait on God. You're not being patient for God. God is being patient for you. So you're asking God for something right now, and he's saying, I'm trying to give it to you, but you didn't get to the point where you know how to listen. You didn't get to the point where you could leave that man. You didn't get to the point where you could leave that friendship. You didn't get to the point where you'll step out on faith in that job. You didn't get to the point where you're willing to stop drinking, stop smoking, stop having sex with people that you're not married to. You didn't get to that point. So I'm waiting to give you your blessing until you want to follow my direction. You're not waiting for me. You're not being patient for me. I've been talking. I've been told you what to do. Did you listen?
And I feel as though you get the test over and over again until you pass it, right? And that's what it is. You're getting the test that you keep wondering why this keeps happening, because he's testing you and you're not passing the test. So I feel that. Once you pass the test, then you kind of like the video games, right? That the guys play that I hide. You ain't playing no video games.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of them little gamer chicks.
Oh, you know. I will hide your remote control, and I'm not playing with
It's
you.
cool. Oh y'all, that's a whole different conversation. I was about to get on my man today. But I love what you also said.
What I said?
When you mentioned having patience with God, you also mentioned instant gratification. And in psychology, we watched this project where they had kids and basically told the kid, don't eat this. And the kids who ate it versus the kids who didn't succumbed to this desire for instant gratification. The kids who needed instant gratification so bad ended up being criminals, ended up being more poor, ended up just struggling in life more than those who could deal with the patience and wait until that adult came back. I thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
I met my best self today. She told me success come with patience. Discipline is for the strong. The weak too weak-minded to gain. It used to smoke away the pain. Gas I'm smoking on is strong. You can smell it on my teeth and hear my voice is almost